All right. Skeleton crew tonight, but we're going to do it like
We'll
always. Do it to it.
Got a couple soldiers.
Welcome everybody. Here it is Friday night, June 21st, 2024. We're at the VFW in Warsaw, right up the road from Nornick Regional Jail. And this is day 1262 since January 6th. And as usual, a real brief prayer and a pledge of allegiance. I don't know if it's recording or not. I guess I should use this. Heavenly Father, thank you for this gorgeous day, beautiful sunny day, and warm, but hot would be better put. Yes, indeed. And but just thank you so much for giving us the ability to go the places we needed to go, to be there to support our loved ones, and to partake in county business, and to be here again, and to stand for the patriots who have been improperly imprisoned across this country. And in Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right.
Gotta shut that off because things happen.
All right, here we go. I think I feel like we don't need these at sometimes, but then when I
probably need it because
yeah.
somebody hears this. My voice is a little hoarse today. I think I've been talking too much.
Yeah, you're hoarse, so. I have my usual stuff, but you know, how do you want to start
You
to?
go first, let me
All right.
get some water in me. Maurice is not here again today, but he'll be here probably next week if I could drag him.
Yeah, here's to Maurice who's tuning in, and we miss you here, and I'm sure you miss being here instead of laying in the hospital bed, but you're going to be back with us here soon. So, I wanted to read the list of names, but I didn't think about it. There was another name that Heather gave me of someone who had been through there, who's not on the list. I'm going to pull that up when I get a break here. But again, this is a time that we can, once a week, we've done this now since October of 2022, is that right?
It was October, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. And so once a week, but not quite as dedicated as the ladies and gentlemen that go into the DC Vigil every single night of the year. And if people haven't seen that, they need to. Many of the viewers on our channel come from over there. But one of the things I love about what they do is they not only call off the names of the people who have been wrongly persecuted, but they also give the shout out to the people who died on Stop Hate website. I want to give you a copy of it, but and this was a recent post on Stop Hate, but basically they're talking about the documentary that's available on Stop Hate and the truth of January 6th, and the point that they make here is Capitol Police murdered 2 J6ers and caused the deaths of 2 others that day. Ashley Babbitt, Roseanne Boylett on my back, Kevin Greason, and Benjamin Phillips. And then since then, several J6ers have committed suicide because of being railroaded by the DOJ. Matthew Perna, Michael Stenger, Michael John Lopatic Sr., Mark Ongst, George Meacham, David Hummel, Shannon Magnano, and Christopher Stanton, Georgia. So again, we want to remember the people who gave their ultimate sacrifice through all this, and I'm just reminded by some of the things that you share with me with your correspondence with these guys, some of the things that I get. They're starting to reestablish connection with some of the guys through Core Links, and just constantly inspired by their attitudes, their positivity, and just their outlook of this very terrible time that's been their lives have been stolen from them. So again, we've got to shine a light on that until we get this turned around. There were 3 arrests last week, according to the NPR J6 database. Everybody knows I tout that all the time. NPR, National Public Radio, just put it in your search engine, NPR J6, and they've got a whole couple of pages of the, I would call it propagandized viewpoint on what January NPR's side of the story. But it is a very well kept up database. They are not quite as crisp and detailed as they were. Sometimes they don't update it on the same date every week like they used to, but they still are updating it. And it's a good quick place for you to look and see, hey, I see 3 new people here. And these new people were Daryl Stephen Graham from Maryland. Daryl Graham was arrested on June 20th in Baltimore, Maryland, yesterday. Rachel Knoll from Adams, New York. She was arrested on June 18th, 2024 in Adams, New York. And another guy, Nicholas Trena from Saraville, New Jersey. He was arrested on yesterday, June 20th in Hamilton, New Jersey. So I went in and I looked these guys up a little bit and looked at their charging documents, which if you click on this source here, the actual affidavit, or what is it called? The charging document comes up, basically where the FBI's investigator lays out the charges, lays out the statement of the claim of unlawfulness. And in there's a lot of photos of them, and you can kind of see where they were in the crowd and what they were doing. These guys seemed very peaceful, but they did go, all 3 of these people did end up going inside the Capitol. So they're still after them. At this point, the number of people charged, 1,423. I thought we were at 1,450. But anyway, 1,423 according to them. So anyway, you got something?
Just a couple of things. We spoke about Julio Becerra, who had stage 4 gastric cancer, and he was granted compassionate release, but right after he got out, he didn't make it home. He went straight to the hospital where he passed away on Father's Day. Now he has 2 small children, and I like to give out his Give, Send, Go. Anybody like to help his family? It's givesendgo.com/help Julio. That's Julio. They could use help with expenses for the family. Also, Christopher Quaglin asked that I mention his Give, Send, Go because he still needs help with his legal fees. And if you just go to givesendgo.com/persecuted patriot, PERSECUTED, patriot, or Give, Send, Go, Christopher Quaglin, you could find his Give, Send, Go there. So he needs help with his legal fees. We had quite a bit of activity, a lot of new arrivals at the DC this month, probably about 12. Joshua Atwood, John Benuelos, Benjamin Burlow, Ricardo Cook, Jonathan Copeland, Victor Dennison, Brent Holdridge, Gregory Purdy, Brian Smith, Taylor Taranto, Taranto, Robert Turner, and Tucker Weston. And we have upcoming sentencings this week, the next 2 weeks. Anthony Maceduno, his sentencing is going to be on June 27th at 10 a.m. Curtis Tate is going to be July 9th at 10 a.m. Michael Oliveras, July 11th at 9:30. And Zachary Alam at July 17th, 9:30. And Gregory Yetman, July 22nd at 2. And David Dempsey, July 29th at 12:30. John Haynes is calling in right now, and I just want to mention that last night, John George Todd III had his temperature taken, and he's on his way to the BOP. Probably go to Philadelphia, stop over, and then find out where he's going after that.
Hey, John, are you there? We're actually live right now, John. And can you say something? I want to make sure that we can hear you.
Yeah, Roger Wilco, over out. Can you hear me?
Certainly can.
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but at least we know what the status is.
That's right.
Anyway, I was just going to call in with a few observations on January 6th. I know that's the main theme.
Yes, indeed.
And if you have any questions, just interrupt me. One thing I know that all of you guys are aware of is all these Supreme Court cases that are getting ready to have rulings. And unfortunately, it looks like the first are going to be Wednesday, and then they're going to finish up Friday, the absolute last day they have. So unfortunately, they're going to string this out.
Right.
And as you know, this is going to have a huge impact on the J6ers in a couple of ways. Of course, about 350 of them are affected by one of the cases. I believe it's the Fisher case. And
Right.
then, of course, Trump and the immunity question also affects them, because if Trump doesn't get elected and the Republicans don't prevail, it's going to really be hard sledding for the J6ers. I hate to make such a dire prediction, but I think a lot hinges on his reelection. So people ought to bear that in mind. There are a couple things that have just come up in the last day or so. One is that FBI whistleblower named Derek Myers has recently come forward. And he worked with the FBI for several years, and he was used as a human source. He originally started out working with the infiltrating the Antifa group because they were routinely assaulting Trump supporters at rallies, and he actually infiltrated their groups and warned of, weapon caches and different things. But according to his recent testimony, right after the Charlottesville so-called riots, there was a radical shift, and they took a lot of resources away from Antifa and legitimate sources and started going after conservatives. And then, of course, it went into overdrive when J6 occurred. Now, according to this guy Myers, there were, and this is a direct quote, hundreds of undercover informants on site that day. And that's why there's so many people you see depicted that there's no mention of.
Right.
And of course, the FBI has refused to release any information on that. But he did give some pretty interesting information. One is that there are different grades of informants, but
Hey, John.
the minimum.
John.
Yeah.
We're getting a call right now, so can we call you back maybe at some point?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Take care.
Thanks a lot, John.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse it, your current balance is $46.87. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hello, this is Cheryl from Northern Neck.
Hello, this is John George Todd III from DC Gulag.
Oh, wow. you're still there.
I am. I just got out of a confined area where it was just me, and I came back probably Wednesday or early Wednesday morning, like around 3 o'clock in the morning.
I thought you were moving on today. I thought you were moving on today to the BOP.
No, I have not gotten my temperature checked yet, so I mean, if I'm moving on, I don't know about it.
Okay, I got something wrong
Yeah.
But hey, I will take as much time as I can here because you know what? Once that 1612 gets taken out, if it does, then they got to come resentence me anyway. So might as well just leave me here for now.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking about that. John Haynes was on the phone, and you know, he's right. They didn't come out with that ruling this week, so there's only 2 days next week left that that can come out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like they're not going to decide. It's going to happen.
It does decide, and I'm hoping that it gets fixed, but you know, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's new over there?
Yeah, I don't know. Was anybody there with you guys at my sentencing?
Were you there on May 31st?
I don't remember that. No, I don't think so.
There was a guy that maybe had kind of looked like you from the pictures I saw, so I wasn't sure, and I was like, but then again, like the looks I was getting, I was like, I don't think those are supporters. I think those are people who hate us. And the judge was like, I don't think you're remorseful, I don't think you're sorry or anything else, and I was like, yeah, well, I'm not gonna talk, so you'll never know.
Yeah.
But my sister and my aunt gave a speech, and they gave me 5 years.
Yeah.
Out of 10 they wanted to give me, so I mean, I'm happy.
Right.
I'm happy with getting as screwed as I could get under better circumstances.
Well, right. You know, I always say it could be worse, but they're throwing it all at you guys. That's for darn sure. They're throwing it all at you.
Yeah, you know what though? My sister, like, she was like all upset and everything, and because I wound up losing my visitation and stuff, and I called her for the whole. She's like, "Why did you do all that?" I was like, I kind of just lost my cool, and things happen. I said, and I said some things I shouldn't have said to get me in a spot I shouldn't have been in. So.
Well, but you also said it, you know, and you went with your heart, you know. I don't know. We can always look back and say, we shouldn't have done something, but you must have done it for a reason.
Wait, so after I got to see my sister, but I completely stand by what I mean.
Yeah, gotcha.
I just wish I would have, because it was a wasted trip for my mom.
Oh.
Being able to visit me.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, the cards played the way they were played, and you know, just got to kind of say, okay, lesson learned.
Yeah. So how's condition?
How's what?
There's some background noise that sounded kind of funny.
Yeah, that's a good trip behind me. They're making fun of other people crying. Even though Crisis acting clown. No.
Wow.
Just a normal everyday long. Don't hear that, it's defamation.
Defamation.
Hey, how's the temperature in there? It was pretty hot out today. Is it pretty good in there?
Temperature is actually pretty cool in here today. I cannot complain about it one bit.
Good.
Honestly.
And then Cheryl just said there's a bunch of new arrivals in there. Are they in the pod yet? Or are they? Do you know?
No. There was a guy who came in with me who they put in the hole. over in North One, right off the get from intake, and he came over with me. But I guess there's still some people, they were supposed to come over the same night, but somebody didn't process the paperwork the right way, and they got stuck. Because, you know, DC jail, they want to do things like a bunch of turkey.
Yeah, that was Brian Smith, wasn't it?
Yes, Brian Smith came with me, yes. And he actually came the day I got sentenced. We rode together in the paddy wagon. So we came back together, and he's like, "How are you excited about 5 years?" I was like, "Because I was looking at 10 to 12.
Right.
Or 10 years, 1 month to 12 years and 7 months. I said, so yeah, I mean,
Got on the
sure,
lower
I
end.
shouldn't be happy, but I'm happy because if they're gonna screw me, I still get to see my son graduate. So you know what I mean?
geez.
Like, I don't miss out on every major thing in his life. I get to see one of the biggest things.
Right.
So,
How old's your
yeah,
son?
I should. He's 6.
Oh, he's 6.
But like, if they would have given me 12 years, I would have missed his graduation and all that.
That's right.
They would have given me 10 years, I would have missed like a lot of his high school. But now giving me 5, I can see out before he goes to middle school.
Right. You'll be out by
To me,
January.
that's,
We're hoping for January.
yeah.
We're all rooting for
And
January.
that's the goal. But
Unless things go south.
yeah, we're hoping that does not happen.
Well, and that's what we were talking about earlier.
So,
Hey, we gotta make sure that happens, that he gets back in there. We gotta make sure of that, for your sake, if nothing else.
absolutely, and I was talking to all the people and they would be like, "Hey, blacks for Trump, trappers for Trump." Like they had all sorts of different names, but like it got to the point where, so they were shutting off our water for like 3 days straight, which you're not allowed to turn off the water for the whole pier. When they're shutting off the water for everybody, because one bad flood, you're supposed to shut it off at the cell. Well, they're shutting the water down on everybody, and
Yeah, I have.
so
Somebody should file a complaint about that for sure, right? Because that's,
I wrote grievances out, and so when I started writing the grievances, everybody else started. They're like, "How do we fix this stuff?" And I was like, "Following my lead." And so we started writing grievances. If one of us kicked the door, we all started kicking doors. So I was like, we're all gonna do like cause them a headache if this is the way it's gonna be.
hey, why not? Paper them, that's called
right.
paper them, right? Give them the paper.
Yeah, and so I was like, you want to mess with us, you can mess with us, big dog, but I'm gonna make your life hell while I'm down here too.
Well, you're gonna do what you got by your rights you can do. You have rights to file grievances. They can't stop you. Yeah. Well, so hopefully it's back on now.
Like, oh, well, yeah, so they can mess with me, but I was like, and everybody's like, "Man, you actually got us going good," and I was like, yeah, you're good. You came by and you told us how to do something. Like I actually got a whole bunch of people to start doing the same thing, and they were like, "Hey, crap, White Boy knows what he's talking about."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, I took my lead for the guy ahead of me." Like, and you had the black lady in there handing out minutes. She's like, they're like, how come we don't get our stuff? She's like, "I'm gonna tell you what. Do what the white boys do. File grievances, because they think to get whatever they want, and all they do is file grievances." And I was like, you know what? She ain't lying. I was like,
Yeah.
file grievances, because you're setting a paper trail. You're
right.
setting something. I said, and you've got to keep the copies, because if you don't keep the copies, they're just throwing it all away.
That's right. I mean, you should have learned from
they
the
were throwing
master.
stuff away. Yeah, and I was like, "Hey, just so you know, I'm turning in a copy to my lawyer and then to the marshals too." And then that changed the whole dynamic. Like, they kicked me out of there like 5 days early. And I was like, "Okay, cool. I ain't mad at you." The whole tier's kicking doors, the whole tier's like, so we're putting our hand in the sock so they can't close it when they're refusing to feed us or shower us for 6 days. Like, come on, play with me. I have nothing. What are you going to do? Put me in a hole? I'm already here. What are you going to do? Turn off my water? You've already turned it off. You're going to stop feeding me? You already stopped doing that. Like,
I don't
do
know,
what you want to do, but you're not going to stop me. I don't get my commentary, so like I'm being denied trade. You are legally obligated to feed me and keep me under your care. And the minute you stop providing all the things that are necessary and legal, oh boy, do I got you by the nads.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And Copeland will be on at 8 o'clock.
All right, cool.
Okay. And then Kate will be calling at the national anthem.
All right.
Great.
Great.
And Scooter says, hello.
No cheesecake tonight.
But yeah. So I was super happy. I mean, I still have my LLP until Sunday. But luckily we have a group of guys that can put everything together, and we still get the message out there like, hey, this is what they're doing illegally in the hole over there. Like, they want to play games. We can play games. Let's make it known. BB Gulag is treating their prisoners like complete trash. And they're federal inmates that are being held under martial status. When they got shipped out the first time, they didn't learn, hey, we can't treat these guys like this. They're still treating them like this. So I hope it's known. I hope it gets out there. I hope the marshals come back and shut them down again and take away their funding, because they're not doing what's right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Right.
And they don't want to lose those contracts, so that's important.
No, they don't, but they absolutely need to lose those contracts. And I say this because they are doing the most illegal things. You've got people who are dying from medical reasons because they refuse to answer. When you're trying to shout for a CO, they ignore you because they don't want to talk. They'd rather flirt with somebody else in the hole and everything else. And it's like, do your job. You are hired for this. Do your job. Treat people with kindness and respect. Come on.
I just read something about jails in Ohio, and they said that there's a lot of deaths. There were like 288 deaths of people in jails in 1 year, and of those, 7 out of 10 of them were pretrial detainees. That's who died in prison or in jail in Ohio. So that number.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it is crazy to see how they are treating you when you are waiting for the pre-trial. This is why they should not be jailing people, and they should be leaving them out on certain people out on the streets, because you're killing innocent people while you're waiting.
Yeah.
While they're waiting for trial. And your whole job is to keep them alive and keep them well, healthy for their families, so they can stand trial. Not only for if it's a victimless crime, then not only for them, but
You have 1 minute remaining.
or the victim's families, if it is a victim. Like, it's crazy.
yep, it is crazy. Well,
Well, as we leave, you have your gifts and go, 388.
Yes, I do have a good.
388-351, this is inmate number.
Yes, and my gift can go is to poor John Todd. I don't know. One of you, I will text. If one of you can send me your email, I will text you my gift and go so you can put it out there. I don't have it by heart, but my sister sent it to me. Or I'll get you in contact with her so she can share it with you.
all right, sounds good. I think we'll get it out there. We'll repeat
All right.
it. Yeah.
Okay,
All right, John. Thanks for calling us tonight. You take care of
Love
yourself,
you
man.
guys.
Yep.
love you too.
Love you all. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you for using Global Towing.
Wasn't it him that
is here.
We
for-
talked about it right before, John George Todd, wasn't he? What were you gonna say about him?
I wasn't gonna say anything, but
You brought up John George Todd, though.
I thought that was who I thought was gonna call first. but,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I got things mixed up. I thought, like last night, they said he got his temperature taken.
Yeah.
So, scratch that. We don't know what's going on with him. I thought he was on his way, to the BOP.
Hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Sorry about
Yeah, I had a
the
dream
shaking.
about him or something, I don't know.
Cheryl's not gotten much sleep in the last couple of weeks. In the last 2 weeks. What did you say you put on your car? You put how many miles on your
Almost
car?
3,000 miles on my car in the last 11 days, and I usually put on 6,000 miles in a year.
In a year.
Normally 6,000 miles. She's already done half of it in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hopefully our battery's going to hold. It's getting lower and lower and lower, but we're working on it.
And it figures, I took my battery backup out of my bag today.
Yeah, it's connected. It's just, it's not staying positive.
Carol, why don't you join us here?
I will, I'm working my way up there.
Just
Trying to organize. I just dumped everything, you can see.
well, I guess Maurice must have fallen asleep. I don't see him commenting on.
Yeah, do tell, give me the update on Maurice.
He's coming home tomorrow.
Oh, is he? Good.
Yes.
Good.
So I put him.
How's he feeling?
Good.
Healthy? He's
Yeah,
able
he
to
feels,
eat, hold
he feels
food
good. He
down?
wants to go home and,
They got the clots all cleaned out that quick?
no,
No?
no. But he'll be on blood thinners, which it'll take a long time for those clots to,
I'm gonna leave all
but,
this.
just,
Anyone going to the convention tomorrow on top?
Tom.
We have too. I got my husband a ticket. I talked him into going.
Nice, good for you.
Kicking, fussing, carrying.
I guess I should pick up my husband and bring him home.
Yeah. You might wanna do that.
Hi, if you're there. He's probably fell asleep.
Hi, Maurice.
You're supposed to say hi.
It's okay. His arm probably hurts to move it.
Oh.
I might try to call John back if you want,
Yeah.
so we can let him
'Cause,
get on to.
If no one else calls till 8 o'clock, if
Yeah.
Copeland's supposed to come and call at 8, and who knows if anybody else is gonna.
John who?
Haynes,
Haynes.
yeah.
And,
So who have
Jonathan
you talked to
Copeland.
so far already?
John George Todd III.
That's, okay, so I came in
And Jonathan Copeland said he's gonna call at 8.
at 8, right.
Yeah, Tate'll get us at the last roughly 15 minutes. So,
Oh, for the national anthem.
Wait. Is that you?
yeah.
Okay. Thought something was coming in while you're dialing.
So is this your news now?
Northern Medic Sentinel.
Hey, John, it's Tom here on the live stream.
Yeah,
Did you?
yeah, I was just watching you guys. In fact, I just muted you.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I just wondered if you wanted to carry on. So you heard John talk to us then?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, well, it'll be a few minutes till anyone else calls. If you wanted to continue on, you go ahead. Otherwise, we can connect later.
Okay, well, I'll do a quick recap for the people who weren't listening earlier. A revelation just came out. A former FBI informant named Derek Myers has recently testified about the events of J6. He was not there at the time because he did not approve of some of the things they were doing. But as way of background, he'd been with them several years serving as an undercover informant, primarily with Antifa. He infiltrated the group and was trying to check out their more violent activities, especially those that involve weapons. And if you remember, that's why the Proud Boys really got involved so heavily, is to protect
people.
Trump supporters and other conservatives. There's a real problem with people being assaulted.
Right.
Yep.
So, and they got that pretty much under control, but he said that after Charlottesville, there was a noticeable change. they stopped putting resources into Antifa, pretty much ignored them, and started going after conservatives. And he said this actually started well before J6. Now, they did, of course, have informants with the Proud Boys, but, you know, by this time, he was starting to become disenchanted. And he did give some of the particulars of how this works. These confidential informants are usually paid a minimum of $450 a day, plus expenses. So if they fly in from somewhere else, they pay for their plane tickets, their hotels, and that $450 a day, for instance, they could show up for a 2-hour demonstration, but they get the whole $450, you know, no matter how long they're there. So these people are well compensated. And of course, these are the civilian informants. The regular FBI employees obviously are on payroll. But anyway, he said another thing, and I thought this was kind of alarming. They are approved to commit criminal offenses. And I guess there's 3 tiers, 1, 2, and 3, depending on how much violence they're expecting. And when they go to one of these events, they have a 36-hour window, and any offense they commit during that period, they are not liable to prosecution. So they can go up and mug somebody or bring drugs in to try to incriminate others. They can do all type of things, and they cannot be prosecuted by prior agreement. So I think this is something that they've tried to downplay. And Myers says, and this is a direct quote, that there were hundreds of informants, and that had they chosen to, they could have easily controlled the whole thing. And I'm not even talking about the Secret Service. He says just with who they had at hand, had they assisted in calming things down instead of stirring things up, it could have been controlled. So anyway, I think a lot of you guys suspected this at different degrees, but it looks like it's coming out, and hopefully there are some other FBI informants and ex-employees that are willing to testify. So anyway,
So you
go ahead.
You call them informants. So these are not FBI employees. These are people that they have a relationship with over time, paying them for information, obviously informant, but they also go and perform. They're crisis actors in a sense. They're instigators.
Exactly, and they're also, those fees are just per diems more or less. They're also given money you might call seed money, and a lot of this came out in Michigan with the so-called kidnapping of Governor Whitless.
Right.
And yes, I did intentionally say Whitless.
Right.
They basically, as it turns out, these so-called informants are actually the instigators.
Yeah.
And they get on in chat rooms and on social media and recruit people. And most of these things wouldn't even come about if it were not involvement. So they don't just participate and observe, they're the orchestrators, they're the financiers. So it's way worse than people thought. And the thing about this Myers that just testified, it's really interesting how far back this goes. And he links it all the way back to Charlottesville. So this is much more pervasive than I think most people thought, much better funded, and it's just still in full effect.
Now,
so,
John,
you know, I think we're going to hear a lot more of the same.
So follow-up is where can people learn more about this? Was this a congressional hearing? Where is it published?
I think that I saw it on Gateway Pundit this morning. I believe that's where I saw it, but I also did a search and it was on several other sources. Okay. So I think you can just, however you search, and I hope it's not Google, just put in DEREK MYERS FBI, and that'll probably pull up anything you need to see.
Cool.
So this guy continues, he plans to continue operating, and he has said that he's speaking with other agents who are considering coming forward. So I think this is going to really be critical to some of these J6ers. And, you know, hopefully there'll be more of it.
And how many did he say were in the crowd? 200?
He said hundreds.
Hundreds.
He used the plural.
Yeah.
So obviously that would be at least 200 and possibly more. And don't forget, there were a lot of people there early on, pulling down fences and staging the grounds. They put up a fake gallows that now appears were all FBI associates. Of course, you know, the false bombs that were planted, they've managed to keep that covered up. And in fact, they actually admit they had evidence, but somehow mysteriously was accidentally destroyed. So they actually, I believe it was some kind of cyber search. They actually identified the person, but said somehow the information was accidentally deleted. So I don't believe anybody believes that, but obviously it was part of a grander plan. There are a couple other things I can go into if you want me to.
Sure.
Sure. Briefly, I just a couple days ago I got a Corlinks notification from Quaglin, and it was hard to decipher. I think he may have been in Philadelphia. Cheryl may know.
Yes, he is.
Or yeah, and that's the impression I got. Now it didn't have a message. He just said he was setting it up. So I think I'll be hearing from Chris.
Yes.
Which I generally do on a pretty regular basis anyway.
He asked me for names to send him of who might be interested in talking to him, so I sent him your name and a few others.
Yeah, which is good because Chris and I have talked by phone, and we were, you know, involved in Corlinks earlier, and I've still got several people I correspond with, by the way, with them. I'm sure others do too. So anyway, hopefully we'll start hearing from Chris, but as you know, once they go into the Bureau of Prisons, access is very sparse, and unfortunately, they still treat these guys like terrorists even when they get in the Bureau of Prisons. In fact, they have a special designated, I forget what they call them, but anyway, they have a certain unit that actively tracks these guys and their families, and the harassment continues. So it's not going to let up until we can get these poor guys and girls out of jail. And I hate reporting negative news, but that's the way it looks. And then one last thing that's on the radar, and I'm sure you all know about this. The federal government has applied for a change of venue in the Babbitt lawsuit, the $30 million wrongful death lawsuit, to have it transferred from San Diego, California to the DC Kangaroo courts. And the presiding judge would be Tia Cobb, who will forever live in infamy. She's brutalized several J6ers. I believe she was involved in Quaglin's case. I'm sorry, well, maybe Quaglin, but definitely Ryan Samsel. I know she presided over that, and she's very aggressive and very liberal. So we'll just keep our fingers crossed for Mickey and her family. They do have Judicial Watch Tom Fitton on the case, and he's already appealed the change. So hopefully something good will come of that. But as you can see, these people are going to fight right to their last breath to torture and harass these poor people. And, you know, there are a lot of good things going on now as far as helping the prisoners with letter writing, contributions, whatever. But I would tell you, as someone who doesn't push political candidates, if Donald Trump doesn't get elected and the Republicans don't do well in November, it's not going to be a good day for our J6 friends. So, you know, like I say, I'm not used to soliciting funds for politicians, but if you've got any spare change, you might want to think of sending it to the Trump campaign, because I think he's the only guy I really trust to look out for these J6 people. Right. So anyway, that's pretty much all I have, unless you guys have any questions. The Sentinel's going to be out. It's going to be a couple more weeks, and it's going to be packed. I think I'm getting ready to dig back into some of the goings-on of the Northern Neck Regional Jail. I don't want to preview that, but I've recently got some more information that things are going on as usual there, which is never good news. But hopefully with some of these J6ers coming out now, getting their freedom, we can get some of them more involved. And you know, we've got a ways to go, but I will give a lot of credit to the Northern Neck Patriots. They've done a tremendous amount as far as raising visibility, and I hear you guys mention fondly every time I talk to them. So I'd just like to say, I know how much your vigils mean to them. They really mean a lot. I hear that constantly, and I'd just like to salute you guys for what you're doing.
Well, John, thanks a lot. I appreciate you being one of our callers here tonight, especially. I think we're going to have a total of 3. You know, it's not as organized as it was when Chris was there. You know, he did a great job with it for quite a while.
Yeah, he did.
And you know, so luckily we've got people that are communicating, and we're getting folks to make calls. But you know, we'll take it. That's fine. And as we were saying, we've got very interesting. Well, you got to hear the last call. Then I was very surprised to hear that they were still performing those shenanigans. But you know, that is clearly I've seen that's against policy and procedures, and maybe against the law to punish an entire unit because of the actions of 1 or 2 1 or 2 inmates. So that's just absolutely wrong. You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, and I think the legacy of the J6ers will be the coming prison reform, because I've always been skeptical of our penal system, but I have no idea how brutal it is. And I'll tell you another great surprise, I think, to all of us. I think it's always been assumed that a lot of this was concentrated in the urban areas, but as you know, Northern Neck Regional Jail right there in Warsaw, it was one of the worst of the worst.
Right.
And they were totally non-repentant. You guys in particular know, you've been active and been to the meetings. I've detected no remorse whatsoever from these people. They're just in denial. So hopefully in the near future, some of the people that are getting out can maybe come to some of the meetings themselves.
Right.
And I think we ought to put these people's feet to the fire, because these are some bad actors. And the 2 primary culprits, the lifetime chairman, Daryl Fisher, and Norm Wasabi, who's basically the godfather of the regional jail. There's some things coming up from their previous tenures at Westmoreland County that look, let's just say, a little suspicious.
Right.
And there's been quite a bit of reporting on it. In fact, I was glad to see even the weekly paper over there in today's edition discusses the subject. So I think a lot of the things that are coming out because of this J6 situation are going to really have a big impact on the lives of all Americans. And I think that's why Donald Trump is gaining so much minority support, because they see that this is not necessarily, these prison abuses aren't necessarily oriented against blacks. They're oriented against people of lesser means who can't afford expensive lawyers.
John, speaking of that, we got another call coming in.
All right, take care.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. Your current balance is $45.19. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tel-Link.
Hey, Scooter.
It's not Scooter, it's Jonathan.
Hey, Jonathan.
You tricked us.
Every time. How's it going?
How we doing, guys?
Good.
Can you talk a little bit louder? I think you're a little low.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello?
that's better.
Sorry. What's going on over there?
It's hot. How is it over in the cells? Is it hot?
No, we got AC, but I think we've been outside one time this month, so I would almost rather be in the heat.
Well, it is really hot. It's in the 90s.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love that right now. They tell us we can't go outside because it's too hot. And I tell them I pour concrete in my sleep in this weather.
That's right.
But, yeah. So what's going on, guys? How's life over there?
It's pretty good, pretty good. We're excited. Tomorrow there's a Virginia Tea Party semi-annual meeting. We're gonna go there, have a table with the Northern Neck Patriots, and we're gonna have, you know, a bunch of information on the January Sixers, you guys. There's some great speakers coming. I think we're gonna have some participation from the folks at the vigil from up in DC, and we're looking forward to it. It's gonna be a good time.
Well, that's exciting. I'm sure they'll hope it goes pretty well.
Yeah.
You guys gonna have a stream and all that?
A what?
No, it's not gonna be streamed. Are they gonna stream it?
I might stream some of it at our table, it depends, because I think it's gonna be pretty popular, you know. Just being able to talk to Tammy and Mickey and Nicole, you know, like you guys get to talk to them all the time. I think that people are gonna wanna be able to, they're gonna be busy. We're gonna have a busy table, I'll tell you that much.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad people are doing things out there.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, it's mostly just us sitting here.
Yeah, yeah.
Just driving ourselves crazy, you know?
Yeah, well, what are you doing? Are you reading or anything new on that front? What are you doing?
I was reading the Bible, trying to keep myself sane,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
This is jail, you know?
yeah,
It is no fun. In a place, you know, you're in a place where, you've never been, I think the only time I've ever been to DC was, what, January 6th? This place is not my home.
Yeah.
It's not,
Yeah.
it's not, cool anymore, you know?
yeah, right. Right,
Yeah. A lot of these guys have been here years. I've been here, I don't know, 60 days. With that, you know, cracking.
Yeah.
so what about the guys that have been there years? I mean, do you get to know any of them at all, or, so obviously you know a little bit
I
about
get to know, I get to know a lot of people here. They're just, I know most of them, but they're all still strangers, you know?
Uh-huh.
You know, you just, you know, you got people at home that you know, and then you got people here that you're learning to know. You know, it's just that, you know, it's just people you don't know that you're learning to know, and you know, it's just jail half the time, you know.
And you have a whole lot of new faces coming in the last couple of weeks.
Absolutely, new people, new mood, new everything, you know. And it's still a small jail, and we're stuck in the same spot. Get discouraged.
Yeah, yeah.
But, yeah,
Sure, we do that.
I'm pretty used to it.
So what are you guys thinking about this Supreme Court decision that is waiting to drop, but it just hasn't yet? You guys?
It's gonna turn out really good for the people that do have the charge. I am unfortunately the one that, maybe they got me in the later date, maybe they've seen that it was already gonna be dropped, but they hit me with everything else other than the instruction. And I thought I was a perfect candidate to get the obstruction charge, and, me, unfortunately, I went inside. I figured they'd hit me with that, but I do think they, know what they're doing. They're very nefarious in their ways and actions, and they probably knew and seen this coming. So people that have been charged later are usually getting other charges, other obstruction charges that are just out of the, like I said, malicious in nature, just nefarious, very, they have motives in some way.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Between the lines that,
that's right. In fact, I was at Quaglin's sentence, and the judge said twice during that whole proceeding that the 1512C, outcome really didn't affect his decision one way or the other. So he was already distancing himself from that, like it doesn't matter, because I think they all know it's going to fall. And I think that's why they put up the barricades around the Supreme Court, but I haven't had anybody confirm it.
oh yeah, I've seen it on the news. Yeah, it looks like they're getting ready for an insurrection of some kind.
But they're
We
the
don't
same.
know what they thought was going to happen.
The bike racks, you mean?
The bike racks, they're bike racks. They're not like a real fence, you know. It's the same scenario with bike racks, right?
Do it again, guys.
Yeah, it was a trap. I mean,
Trying to trap more people now.
whatever they want, they're getting out of us. I don't know. I'm just a small town guy from Ohio, and I've had everything just destroyed, taken from me. So,
You know, I was reading something about Ohio jails because there's a big news flash about a young intern who was allegedly had sexual relations with and brought in contraband and cell phones into the jail.
oh
Yeah, this just happened like a week ago, and Brianna Morello is reporting on it. She's somebody I follow on X. Anyway, but I started looking up information about Ohio jails, and I saw a statistic that said that in a given year there were 278 deaths across all the jails in Ohio, and 7 out of 10 of those, so 70% of them, were people that were in either pretrial or pre-sentencing arrangements inside those jails.
nice. That's encouraging.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's half the battle, For those that don't understand jail, what we have here is special. Us being together, and we have it much better than what it's going to be. Once you leave this place, it is that way. It's a living hell. That's what I wish there was a little bit more support in this world, and a lot less. I know there's all the January 6th groups out there eat each other. I got to see it before I came here, and I just wish people would realize that it's not about how much money people are making and all this and that, but we are humans, and there's other people involved in this. There's everyday citizens that are living in hell. We are all living in hell, and jails are no fun. It's not a fun place to be, and this is a very emotional thing, a very physical thing, and a very spiritual thing that we're going through. And I just wish more people would consider who we are anymore, because I do feel as if it's dropped. I've been trying to get a hold of Jim Jordan for 3.5, 4 years. That's my congressman. I've been trying to get a hold of even J.D. Vance or anybody that was listening. And, I've had great support from you guys and a few other people, but like I said, I just feel, I almost feel forgotten in a way, Kind of like when Trump recognized us in 2015, and forgotten man. I was the uneducated voter, a guy that was a high school dropout with a GED that did concrete for a living. I thought he was my hero, and and to see what's going on now in the world, it's just it's almost depressing.
Yeah, well.
And then you get into a state where you're in a room, you're in the same room you don't see outside for 1 day out of 30 days. And you get sick to your stomach, you have anxiety attacks you never had before. You freak out a little bit,
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know, but I'm trying to imagine it. So thanks for describing it, because people do need to think about that and they need to learn it. I remember somebody, I don't remember the name to give credit to, but said one time that he goes, when people tell you that you don't, get close to breaking down in here or have a breakdown of some sort, they're lying, because it happens to everybody at some point. And he said, when it happened to me, I said, God, why me? Why me? And the answer he got back